Shabbat Shalom. Let's sing in Shabbat together. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Here it is, Shabbat again. We get to have it again. We're going to sing in some prayers and welcome this special day, this gift to us, a gift of peace. And you'll see when I talk about the Torah portion how it fits in. Let's go ahead and light the candles. Taking the light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. There they are, our light to guide us through the week. Let's invite in the angels, our teachers. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Lai 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 Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu. So we ask those angels sent from the Holy One, the King of Kings, we ask for those messengers to come and surround us, which really means we're asking for ourselves to be aware that the messengers are surrounding us, because of course they're always here. We have to open ourselves to their presence. And those are the people who we learn something from, our teachers who push and pull us into directions we need to go. So now we'll invite in the bride of Shabbat. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemahu echad. L'shem al tiferet v'litchila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. The face of Shabbat, we welcome her in. We remind ourselves of these special words. The righteous, the people who try and do what's right in their lives, to be concerned with others, to uplift the whole. The righteous shall flourish like palms, grow tall like cedars in Lebanon, rooted in the house of Adonai, in the courtyards of our God, they shall bear fruit. The courtyards of our God, that's the world we live in. That's the courtyard of God. Still fruitful in old age, they remain ever fresh and green, proclaiming that Adonai is just, my rock in whom there is no wrong. Have you ever been inspired by an older person who is vital and inspiring? Their energy is inspiring, even though all of our bodies become less able as we age. Tzadikata machar yifrach ke'erez balvanon iskei shetulim bevet Adonai bechatzrot Elohinu yafrichu od yenuvon b'seiva deshenim v'ra'ananim iyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri velo avlatabo. This week in the Torah, we come to a famous portion called Korach. Korach means somebody with a bald head, but it's speaking about a person. That's his name, Korach. He's a cousin of Moses and Aaron, a first cousin, and being of the tribe of the Levites, he has an important job in carrying some of the articles that make up the Mishkan, the dwelling place for God in the desert that they carry along with them as they travel. But, last week the Israelites had a bad week. Okay, there had been one rebellion after another, and last week the spies went to see the land that God was giving the people, and they came back with a scary report, and they frightened everyone. And because of that, instead of having faith that the land that God would give them would be a good land, God got really distressed and said for every day, for the 40 days that the scouts scouted out the land, for each day the Israelites in the desert were going to have to wander for a whole year. 40 years. So the people have just learned, they've been gone from Egypt 2 years already, and they've just learned they've got 40 years of wandering in the desert. So they're at a very low point. Now I have to tell you, all the years of teaching Torah, I've always championed Moses and was very down on Korach. But this year I'm feeling a little different. As I read the words, I'm thinking, this venture that Moses took the people on. I mean, God really did it, but the people see it as Moses for the most part, because they haven't learned to depend on God yet, to trust in God's word. And you could look at it as a failed venture. I mean, they had all these ideals. They were going to leave slavery and go to the promised land and be God's people. And what's happened is they've left, and they're starving, and they're in a no place. And okay, they're getting manna from heaven, and God appears to them, and God did give them the teaching, the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai, but you can see that they're discouraged. And then to find out they've got 38 more years of this, you can see why they would be very discouraged. Well, Korach, Moses' cousin, he gathers a bunch of people, 250 people with him, important people. And he says, why are you lording it over us, to Moses and Aaron? And he wants to rebel against the leadership. Well, that's a human kind of thing, right? When we don't like the way things are going, it's easy for us, sitting down here to criticize the leadership, to blame the leadership. And sometimes the leadership needs blaming. But at those times, we have an alternative plan. We say, look, this leadership is bad, and here's our alternative plan, and this is why our plan is better. But Korach, he doesn't have a plan. His plan is just to be in charge. He doesn't offer the people an alternative. And that's one way you can tell that sort of leader is in it for himself and not for the community. Well, in the Torah, an amazing thing happens. I mean, Moses says, he doesn't say anything. He and Aaron, again, they fall on their faces in prayer, on their knees in prayer, with their faces to the ground, the Torah says, because there are no words to say to Korach, you are rebelling against God, not just me and Aaron. And Moses says, he tries, he asks Datan and Aviram, 2 other men who were part of this rebellion. He says, come and speak to me, let's talk this over. And they refuse, they're not going to talk to him. So then Moses says, if this man Korach dies a natural death, he was right. But if he dies a death different from a natural death, if the earth should open up its mouth and swallow him, you will know that God appointed Aaron and I as leaders. And as soon as he's done talking, the earth opens up its mouth and swallows Korach and all his band. Well, that's nice and neat in the Torah. That makes it very clear who the leader is, right? And don't we wish we had such clarity? So I wanted to say something about wishing for the promised land, hoping for the promised land. That it's important for us to have in mind what that would look like. Because when we have it in mind, we can walk toward it. We can do actions now to make the world a little better place. But we may not ever get there exactly perfectly the way we envision it. And the important thing is not to give up. And the important thing is to notice the manna that we do have, the way God is with us, even though it's not perfect. And that's hard for us to do, to be disappointed with the state of the world, and at the same time to hold one in each hand, at the same time to be grateful for the beautiful fragrance of this rose and the beauty of this rose, and to delight in our children and grandchildren or our friends who we love so much, to be grateful that we have Shabbat every week, to hold both of those things, the disappointment with the imperfect world and the joy and treasures that we have that are also God-given, to hold them both at the same time and not say it's one or the other. It's challenging. And our joy does not going to withhold our hope for the perfect world. And our perfect world should not diminish our noticing the beauty and the love and the delight that we do have in this world. It's a challenge. It's complicated, but it's worth it. Oh, say shalom bimromav, huya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, de'imru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimeru, amen. I do hope that you take some moments during the Shabbat or every day to contemplate the beautiful gifts that we are blessed with by God in this world, and at the same time to think about one way you can help improve the world, because all of us have some way we can do it, even by greeting our friends and the people we meet on the street with a smile does a lot to make the world a better place. Let's bring to mind those of the people that we know and the people that we love who are in need of healing. There's so many. I want to report to you that my cousin Brian, I've been mentioning a lot, he's getting better. Thank you for your prayers. Bring to mind those people who are in need of healing or strength or courage, or knowing that there's people loving them and praying for them. We'll sing our blessing for them. I'm going to get a drink of water first. Little water gives strength and courage. Mi sheberach avotenu Mekor habraha limotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habraha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. You know, it's important to tell people who you're praying for that you're praying for them. It helps them to know. We also want to acknowledge those who are commemorating the anniversary of a death, or for those who may have lost someone recently in our prayers. So we'll continue with the Kaddish. Mention their names. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayei uv'yomei uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran b'yoma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min Shemaya, v'chaim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru Amen. We'll celebrate Shabbat with a little special libation. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. L'chaim, l'chaim. We thank God for bringing forth sustenance from the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, friends. Let's just sing one more time, okay? Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. A Shabbat of peace to you and rest. And I'll see you next week. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.